Hello there, viewers. Good day to you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Coming out here to this Silverado 2500. It's a gas-powered Silverado. We had this thing into the shop not long ago. We were doing some front-end work on it, and I noticed something potentially disastrous with the driveline on this truck. So I had to upsell my customer on some used parts. Man, did you guys see that? Did you hear that? That drive shaft has a dent right in the middle of the side of it, and I'm hearing some squeaky, 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 squeaky action going on. We're sitting here in a 2003 Chevrolet Silverado. I think it's the 2500. It's got the little big motor. That's the 6-liter gas powered. The battery's dead because I left the dome light on the other day. It had like 276 something thousand miles on the odometer. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fix this drive shaft. Now, this was an impromptu upsell to the customer. I had this truck in here to check out a loose front end, and Justin had installed a replacement heavy-duty idler arm, pitman arm, and some other suspension stuff to tighten up the front end. And we were about to roll this thing out, and that's when I looked back and I saw that the aluminum drive shaft on this bad boy had a bend in the side of it. And that's going to be a problem, and I'm going to show you why. We have a replacement drive shaft over here. Now, this thing came out of the junkyard, and it's looking kind of roughish on the U-joint front over here. We're missing one of the caps. It's all rusty, crust-o-matic. And up here on the front, also rusty, crust-o-matic, and we have a rusted out slip yoke. So it's not going to be a simple swap it out and have a nice day type of situation. I need to remove that drive shaft, take it apart, reuse this piece, install new U-joints, install this new shaft in place of the bent shaft, and then this thing will be ready to rock and roll. But I have not yet explained why a bent drive shaft is remarkably dangerous to yourself and to other people around you. So after we get that drive shaft out and we get the new one, newish one rebuilt, we're gonna take a Sawzall and we're gonna chop this drive shaft in half, and I'm gonna show you guys what is inside one of these paper thin aluminum drive shaft assemblies. So stay tuned, this right here is gonna be a fantastic video. Opening the hood. So here's what we're working with today. I've got some Moog universal joints right here. These are going to be greasable. I got the ones with the grease fittings, so they should last longer than the original ones. Got a pair of them right here. They're part number 331 Alpha. Do not buy these for your truck based on my part number, because there's about 40 different part numbers for U-joints on these Silverados. Multiple configurations. Crew cab, single cab, extended cab, short bed, long bed, dually, 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, gear ratios, transfer case type. You get the picture. There's multiple possible drive shafts. 1-piece or 2-piece, those exist as well. The list really goes on and on and on and on. So what I'm gonna do here is we're gonna fetch an 11mm wrench. We're gonna crawl down there on the floor, get this drive shaft out, and then we're gonna take it apart, get the U-joints out. I already popped the hood, what am I thinking? And then we'll get the rebuild done. But first, I need to fetch the battery charger, because that battery's stone cold dead. Yep, day in the life. You think you're doing one thing, and then the universe says, nah, we're gonna get you doing something else today. That's fine, we adapt, we roll with the punches here. Let's power up this unit. I'm gonna do a slow charge. It's gonna be a standard battery charging. 12-volt battery. You know, we'll do it 15 amps. This one's stone cold dead. Begin charging sequence now. Confirm, start. Oh, I just saw an arc flash. Yeah, that's pretty dead. And she's off. So we'll come back to that thing later on. In the meantime, let's go down there and fetch a drive shaft. Oh look, all of my bolts are easily accessible. Yeah, if we saw earlier, this is the problem right there. Do you see that dent? It's not that horrible, but it's right there, a big old divot in the shaft. That dent will cause a failure of the structure of this drive shaft while it's under load, probably at high speed. And this thing will twist up like a pretzel while it's spinning around. And once it twists and starts to come out of place, it's party over. That thing is going to annihilate itself. It's gonna turn into a giant grenade. It's gonna rip itself to pieces. It's gonna destroy everything under the vehicle. and probably cause a car accident and potential injury or worse. If you guys would like to see what happens when a drive shaft actually does fly apart on a vehicle, I have a truck in the parking lot. It's a I think it's a 2017 Dodge 4500. It's a medium duty truck. It's a tow truck, and it had a drive shaft failure while going over the Sunshine Skyway Bridge in Tampa, Florida. And that drive shaft caught a hold of all of the plumbing and the wires and the fuel lines and the brake lines and everything else, you name it, underneath of the chassis, and it ripped it all to pieces and set the truck on fire, and it burnt to the ground on top of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge, which has a 187-foot elevation from sea level to the bottom of the bridge. So a drive shaft will absolutely annihilate you if given the right opportunity. So there was not a snowball's chance I was gonna let this thing slippage. I need to get a socket for that one. There wasn't a snowball's chance I was gonna let this truck go with a bent drive shaft. So we had to call the junkyard to get one socket, because it's a 10. There's the 11. Had to call the junkyard because the new drive shafts are remarkably expensive, hard to get a hold of, and this is just a more cost-effective way of doing this. So I'm just going to rebuild this fella's drive shaft. That way he is safe and secure out on the road, because we do not need we don't need accidents around here. Why? What the heck, man? That's not fitting. No worries, I'll get her out of there. As soon as we get the party started, these things will fall right out. I could have put this on the lift. This is about a 6,000 pound truck, and we're sitting on an 8,000 pound lift. I realize that that's within capacity, but it's been I'm just erring on the cautious side around here these days. I just don't put the big trucks on this particular lift. Hence the down and dirty with it on the ground here. Unclick U. There. One cool thing though is you get to kind of lay down on the job. Relax the tired muscles. There she is, got it. All right, so now I'm gonna get behind this and kind of pop that thing out. Begin popping. I'll use a pry wrench. You just need a slight bit of leverages. There we go. Okay, there she is. Shaft coming down. And we'll just pull it out of the transmission next. Let's get a hold of it right here. I don't really have to worry about damaging it because it's already ruined, isn't it? Pop this guy out. Go. That's a new seal right there. See that? That's brand new with some grease on it. Okay. So anyway, let's get this thing rolled out from under here. There's our dent. You guys see it? A little tough. See it right there? It's kind of dipping in. Looks like something flat ran into it. I can see marks. Maybe a forklift from a junkyard or something like that. Yeah, right there. Either way, this is compromised and is not safe for use and cannot be used. It has to come out of service. So let's get this thing apart. We need to recover that slip yoke and then change the shaft out. Okie doke, so I've got my drive shaft over here hanging out on the toolbox. We're gonna put some vice grips on here so the thing doesn't roll off. Now, I learned a long time ago, there's certain things that you just don't do on the internet. One of which is welding. The other is soldering. The other is changing out U-joints in aluminum drive shafts, because the levels of scrutiny is just through the roof. So I'm gonna go ahead and break all of those rules, and we're gonna change this drive shaft on the internet. Now I realize that everybody's got a different way of doing it, and they're right and I'm wrong. And knowing that full well, I'm gonna publish this anyway. because if I felt that I was doing something inappropriate or wrong or hackish, I do have the option to not publish any content. Like, that's not very well understood, is I'm not required to make content every day. I do that voluntarily. So if I do something that you don't like and it's all cringeworthy, that's a buzzword, and people say, why am I taking this apart? I don't need, oh, I do, yeah. And people say, you know, you should delete this video because what you did was so horrible. I don't have to publish it. So, and I edit these myself. So if it's a horrible thing and it's embarrassing or I'm doing the wrong thing, I can just not publish that and then it's not an issue. So this is all voluntarily administered to myself. So what we're gonna do here, now that I have that off, I'm not gonna torch this. There's no need of it. We're gonna get a ball joint press and we're going to press, wait, I don't know. I don't have to take this one off. Yeah, I have to take that one off. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? You make these silly mistakes and then they rip you a new one for it. This is the old drive shaft. I need to take that piece off the new drive shaft. I gotta not get these confused. So anyway, wrench and repeat. Here, let's try this with better pliers and a better angle for our dangle. So we're taking this slip yoke off. This guy has to go away, and then we can just move on with the rebuilding of the other shaft. This is the one I have to salvage parts from. I was getting all off center and off track or whatever because I was busy talking to you guys and not paying attention to what I was supposed to be paying attention to. Oh, that one's shattered. That's, oh, that's rust. Okay. I thought I broke the clip. I was like, oh, this will be fun now to get out. Okay, so what we do next is get a ball joint press. It's a big C-clamp. We're gonna press this joint out and recover the slip yoke. All right, let's see how this is gonna work out for us right here. Yeah, last time I used a ball joint press, everyone was like, oh my God, you're ruining everything. I mean, the thing worked, but I guess it was super duper cringeworthy. Okay, so I'm gonna need to pull this joint out of, oh, that's not fitting either. Ruh-roh. Having a hard time making this work. Try it at an angle here.
That's a long shaft.
Hey, you gotta leave those ones to me. Yeah, we gotta do this at this weird angle. The shaft is too big for this device I'm trying to apply to it here. Yeah, about like that should do it. So all we need to do is run this down and it should push this joint out of this slip yoke. That's kind of the idea. All right, so I got a little impact gun here. This is a weak one, but it should do the job. Yep, that's working. Just see the joint right there. Coming through. Yep. Okay, so it's partially completed. Now sometimes what I'm about to do works and sometimes it doesn't work. We're gonna try it. If I can get this thing to turn here, it'll come out. Yep, just like that. So now I need to press this back through the other side to extract that other U-joint cap. Let's angle this down. We'll set it back up. Our dealio right here. Need some angle out of it. See that? Recentering because it walked a little bit. It walked a little bit. It slipped a little bit. And we're through. turn. Need more grippages. How about some better pliers? Those are pretty aggressive, yeah? Ruh-roh. Okay. Let's escalate the level of violence. Hey, watch this cringe-worthy tactic. We got the mini assault air hammer right here. Compressor's fired up. We're just gonna knock this guy out from the side like this. Watch this. Should pop right out. Ping. Oh, look at that. Destroyed. Yeah, those needle bearings are junk. That's supposed to be grease, not rust. Dang. All right, well, that is our reusable slip yoke business. So that's all that we need off of this shaft. There's that bend again. Yeah, you can see a little bit better now in the light. Look at that. So we're done with this. Let's get rid of this drive shaft right here. Oh, I probably should have made sure this was the right one before I took it apart. Oopsie. Bad Ray. Not thinking. Let's find out. Measure it up right quick here. Yep, looks like the right one to me. I'm good with that. Okay, so now we're gonna take this drive shaft, put that other yoke on it, change out both U-joints, and then we can get it reinstalled. After it's installed, we're gonna saw this one in half so we all can see what's inside of these hollow aluminum drive shafts right here. Let's bring this guy back over to the bench. So I got a phone call from Dentco in Michigan yesterday. That was after Chris at the Rain Man Merch Company had to call him back and order 2 more complete full skids. That's like a pallet. For those of you guys don't know what a pallet is, see the outline of this box right here? That thing? That's a pallet. They call that a skid. It's a standardized shipping measurement. Anyway, we had to order 2 more full pallets of brake clean because the day that I mentioned that I had discounted prices on Dentco American-made brake clean, you guys went into the store and completely bought out my entire supply. So thank you, I appreciate that. So now I've had to reorder the brake clean supply. So now there's a truck being dispatched to our building in Tennessee, and we're getting 2 more pallets of brake clean. I still have 1 left, so if you guys order any more of it, the order will come in a timely fashion. I still have some inventory, but you guys, you pretty much cleared me out, which is amazing. Thank you so much for your patronage. I appreciate the support, and I hope you guys appreciate the discount, because it's cheaper from me than anywhere else because I negotiate buying power. Uh-oh. I should go back to places I used to work at and see if I can wholesale brake clean drums to them. Yeah, we have it in the drum too. If you guys want a drum of brake clean, like the 55-gallon drum, give me a ring. I'll have it shipped right to your door. And if you want a drum or quantities or bulk, one of the major costs in shipping a drum is the skid that it goes on. But we can fit 4 drums to a skid. So you want to buy those in bulk, we can get them 4 drums on 1 skid and get the price down even further. Volume discounts. And another special shout out to Dentco for making all this possible. They've been a pleasure to work with so far. There we go. So we're gonna pull this joint off of here and out of here on this one. Let's get some of the debris out of the way. There we go. Now don't get it twisted. That wasn't a moment of self-promotion. That was a moment of appreciation. Laura, is that you, darling? Nope, that was the radio. I thought she came out and said something to me. She should be here any second now. That's my prediction. lined up. Impact, pneumatically impacting. I know, it's so cringy, right? Such a bad man. Now, here comes the cringy part. We have to do the same thing on aluminum. Been doing that on steel the whole time. This is the aluminum, so I need to take some care to not break the ears off. You can't service an aluminum drive shaft, you gotta get a new one. Nah, I can service this one. We're good. We're good. Here, this should help a little bit with people's hurtphilioma. There we go. Grow wildflower. It's moving. Backing up. Need to realign. Bonk. Impact gun coming out again. See, vibrations make things come loose. Come out. The rubber grease seal is pinched and it's hanging this thing up. That's what we're stuck on. Can't get that to come out through the grease seal. So on the next ones, I'm going to learn to tear the grease seal out before I try to press the cap. If I can get it to. It's a pretty tough looking seal. Reload. Yep. Alrighty, there's one. Everything's a hammer. There's two. There's that little pesky seal. It was binding us up. So that guy is free and clear and under control. Give her a wipe. We have no damage to the ears, the shaft, or anything of that nature. Beautiful. Okay, so let's give it a flip. Flip the shaft around, we'll tear the other side apart. Good old rotation. Towels back. See how I was just working that clip to get the corrosion to break away? That's all that was about. That's the spray. That one. Try to break some grease seals. Let's break the grease. Break some grease seals. That one's good. These are plastic, not even rubber. They're brittle plastic. There we go. You know, let's see if we can just skip over the ball joint press entirely. Let's just try to run this through with just a hammer and see what happens. That's a negative. Nope. Gotta run the press. Everything is a hammer. There we go. Quick tool change, flip. This worked on the other side, so let's try it over here. Oh no, I smashed my box. Ruh-roh. I'm stuck. Now I'm unstuck. Okay, this assembly phase is now complete. Okay, let's give this bit of business a wipe down here, get all the oil off of it. I think we're about ready to rock and roll. Let's get her put together. Okay, new U-joint coming in. I'm gonna point the grease zerk back so it will be accessible. Now, one thing we need to make super duper care of, or to take care of, or pay attention to, is that I don't knock one of these needle bearings down and it falls into the bottom of this cup. If that were to happen, it's going to space this cup too far out from the center line of the U-joint, and we won't be able to install the retainer clips. Now, a lot of guys don't notice that, and they force those clips in, and it ends up breaking the drive shaft. So if you let that bearing fall out during your pressing event, you will break your drive shaft. So what I'll do, we're going to slightly assemble this inside. See that right there? So I've got the U-joint inside of the cup now, so it can't go anywhere, and that's going to keep those needle bearings. Yeah, unlike what I just did. In theory, that's going to keep those needle bearings in position. So let's put that thing back in there. Okay. See how we're doing that? So what I can do now, see how far I can get with a mallet. I'm pushing up on the U-joint, that way the hammer doesn't knock the U-joint out of the cup. Okay, that's in. Darling, you bring coffee to me.
Yes, coffee.
Thank you, love. Uh-oh, look, the U-joint's not in there. I made a grave error in judgment and I didn't check my part, and I found out that the part I was installing is the wrong part. It's, see the shortness of it? It's the wrong one, so I had to order some more of them. These ones are not Moogs, they're spicers, and these are not greasable, so I don't get to supply this customer with an upgrade. So since I love my job so much, I'll do it twice, and that's what I've done here. But now all my momentum is gone and I'm less enthusiastic. So let's try this again, I suppose. That one's not gonna fit in the way the other one came out because it is a different size, so that changes my tactics slightly. Kind of repeating what I just did here. Let's tap it in there. Did not hit aluminum with a hammer. Okay, that's about as far as the mallet's gonna take us. So we're gonna fire up the little press thing again, run that in some more, and then we'll stick the other side in. Yeah, it went from like 0 to 150 miles an hour around here, all between two cutscenes. My whole demeanor has shifted. Anyway, one side is in. Let's give her a rotate. Now this is where it gets super sketch-o-matic, because this is the transitional period when these caps can fall out. So what I need to do, or needle bearings can fall out of the cap rather, I need to pull this U-joint out of this cap slightly. That way this side here protrudes enough where I can engage the needle bearings right here. So when I go to run these guys in, the bearings don't fall out. So right now, the studs, or the shafts rather, on the U-joint have engaged the needles on both sides. So we have to do this very, very carefully, and I'll be avoiding using the impact, because it can jar those bearings out because there's nothing really holding them in. It's just all kind of floating in suspension. There we go. So we're gonna take the socket, put the socket over here on the tool you guys can't see. We're gonna run this manually with a ratchet. See what we're doing here. Joint's going in quite nicely. There we go. Okay. Let's check the joint here and make sure it's all in good condition. No binding. And I got a little bit of side play because we have not fully seated yet, but that's pretty much in position. So let's flip it around to the one that's already set and bottomed out, and we can toss in our little clips here. They gave me more than I think I need. I'm not sure why I have so many. That's fine. There we go. Okay, that retainer clip's in position. Let's give it a flippy flop. See how this one's flush, that one's recessed. Got to run this one down until it becomes flush. I can use the speed gun here because the bearings are no longer at risk of falling out. Okay, I can see the groove. Now what we're going to notice is that this joint is going to be binding because there is gravity. There is pressure from these two caps held by the ears pushing in on the studs of that U-joint. So now we need to walk the caps back out until they contact the snap rings. This one's pretty close. This one, that one pushed out a little bit when I ran it in. So here's how we'll do this. I'll fix it with a hammer and a socket. Let's see if that's the one we want. Nope. See how that fits just inside and it engages the snap ring? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get an actual hammer, get the big blue one. We're just gonna give that a couple taps and it's going to push this cap down, push this cap out, and then we'll kind of center the caps with some linear impacts. So let me get a good surface to hammer against. Another socket. Put that right about there. This one right about here. See that? It kind of pushed that out a little bit, so let me give this a couple love taps on this side. Actually, I'll tell you what. Watch this. Not hurting anything. A little bit more. See how the little tab right here, hope you guys are seeing that. See how the little tab right here is kind of flush with the cap, and how this tab right here is sticking out some? That indicates to me that this side is slightly off center a little bit. So we're going to continue to give it a love tap right here until that thing relaxes. Once it's relaxed, we know we're good. There we go. It just relaxed. It's flat. Can you see it? Jar everything a little bit more. Good. That's what we want. That's in good shape. Okay, so now let's get the other piece on. Okay, it's giant shaft flippy floppy time. Let's rotate her around. We got one more side to do. Then we'll swap the yoke back in and throw this thing back into the truck. There we go. I know this is getting a little repetitive, but there's nothing I can do about that. It's the same thing over and over and over again. There we go. Let's get her started. Keeping a bunch of hand pressure in this direction so I can't hammer this thing to bounce out, allowing the space for the bearings to fall out. Oh, look at that. That one just went on in there. Nice. So here. Let's just go ahead and send it all the way. good. That one's good. Throw the clip in it while I'm here, because why not? Needle nose pliers are not in my line of sight. There they are. Got it. Okay, let's get, whoa, snap ring flying. Danger, safety glasses or actual glasses. Okay, that one's in. Looking good. Rotator around again. Okay, we're in. See, this is how you channel anger. Yeah. Almost. I was checking clearances. I know I'm not talking much. Try to tap this down a little farther. Let's get a clip into it, see what she does. Not clipped in yet. Look at here. It's in the bore, but not in the groove. So we'll take an old cup, one of these cups right here. Hard surface, hard hammer. Yep, that's in. That bottom one's protruding slightly. Let's give that a love tap. And voila. That one's good. We're in the groove. This one down there, that's in the groove. Little tangs are not sticking out, so it's centered and it has a range of motion. So let's get the, not that one, this one's all acrostomatic. Let's go ahead and get the yoke and get that thing set up next. Now the yoke might not be as forgiving and easy as the shaft itself. The steel is not as pliable in most cases, clearly, because it's steel, and steel is not pliable. That's just how steel works. I mean, it is on some level, but not very much. Like that. Yeah, see, I can't do that one by hand. Yeah, maybe I can. Summon internal managed rage. Raw. Yeah, that's a workout. And we're done. Okay, I tried to see, I'm showing off over here. Trying to show off. It worked the first time, didn't it? Let's get a socket on here. Oh, now she's going smooth. Okay, we're in. Back it out. Roll it. And then we get our our last one in. Almost there. Ratchet's coming in. Almost. Okay, it bottomed out. So now we're pushing on the cup on the other side. Back it off and clip it. Cinco, 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 anytime. It's the song on the radio. I don't know why these are purple and the other ones are not. Okay, in the groove. And just like the other side, this groove is not quite exposed yet, so take our socket one more time. Give it a love tap. Close. It might take a couple more taps here. Here we go. Uh-oh, this one's not wanting to set up. Needs to go in just a nano micrometer. Didn't want to do it. So what I'll do, I'll use the ball joint press here again. Put that guy right in there. Let's line up now, do your thing. That's it. Ooh, the mower started. Okay, so I got some pressure on that. Watch this here. Set this thing down. Come back right here. Give that a tap. That should have done it. So let's back off. Double check. And we have a winner. Done. That's flush. That one's sticking out a slight bit, so I'm gonna give it a love tap just to try to center one more time. Flat, still moves, and flat. We are good to go. This drive shaft, you couldn't see, drive shaft has been rehabbed. Now let's get it installed. Now for the question that everybody's got inside of their head, what about the balance? Is the drive shaft balanced? Probably. It's probably balanced. I get it. A true balance would have us put it on a balancer using this piece and all the new U-joints and then redo it again. Assuming that these can't be too far off in production between the two units, I would say that the balance of this shaft and this shaft is fairly close. And back here, there is nothing to balance. So the only imbalance I might have created is up here at the slip yoke, which doesn't move, so there's nothing I can do about it. Again, this was a price point type of repair. These are unavailable and expensive, and the used one was available and not expensive. So we did a price point driven repair, didn't spend the value of the truck on a new drive shaft, because that's about what a new one costs. And I'm gonna have this guy back on the road in a more safer condition and a less vibrating condition than when we started. Because when we started, this thing was a death trap waiting to happen. So now that we've established why we're not doing any kind of balancing work on this, let's go ahead and swing her around here. Gotta clear everything and get the shaft back into the truck. There we go, coming down. Smooth landing. Okay, we're preparing for shaft insertion. Coming on in here. Get in there. Okay. She's in, that's good. Let me throw it in neutral so I can turn this drive shaft and we'll line it up with the rear and get her bolted back in. Okay, crawling back down again. I was in the cabin. The transmission has been selected to the neutral position and the parking brake is engaged, so the truck cannot go anywhere. See that? I can't rotate this because the wheels are on the ground, and the wheels aren't going to turn because the parking brake's engaged. So I'm safe. Last thing I need in my life right now is to get run over by a Chevrolet sitting on the ground in a parking lot, or in my stall at work, or any time for that matter. Tell you the truth, everything's a hammer. Ratchet hammer to the rescue. Let's throw the straps back in, bolt this bad boy down, and should be good to go. Next fastener. I see in comments quite often I interchange nuts and bolts with the word fastener, and you guys ask why, and I got like a flippy floppy get it backwards problem, or I call nuts bolts, and usually I'll call it a bolt a nut. Don't know why. The internet psychologist said it's dyslexia. I've never been diagnosed. Anyway, to mitigate my error in speech patterns, I just choose to utilize the term fastener because it's all encompassing and inclusive, and it works for all types of devices designed to fasten something. Gotta love that inclusive language. Makes for a greater understanding. Well, let's get her tight. Can't see the one, but I'm working on the one on the back. I'm gonna have to revisit those because that U-joint is not exactly centered just yet. As I tighten this one in, it's going to center the U-joint, change the angle of it down here, and that's going to change the clearance that I just closed up by tightening down that bottom strap. So I'll have to revisit that bottom strap to take up the clearance, because things going in at an angle take up more space than things that go in straight and flush. Physics. I like physics. Physics is the universal language that dictates our mortal existence. That and mathematics. Afterwards, words are the most important because words hold more power than anything. You know the phrase, the pen is mightier than the sword? Ooh, see that? It tried to move. The truck tried to roll on me because of the torque I placed on those bolts. Oh, there we go. Last one right back here. Sand in my face. Now, the torque that goes on these bolts is not incredibly high because all they're designed to do is hold this strap. So don't over torque them if you're doing this at home. There we go. But if you are doing it at home, make sure you clean everything up real nice with some of my Dented brake clean from my merchandise shelf. It's available by the case, cheaper than anybody else. And that will end my moment of shameless self-promotion. All right, now for the good part. What's inside of these aluminum gigantic drive shafts? Got the Sawzall here. Let's go after it. We're gonna chop this thing in half and I'll show you the cross section of these shafts. There's not much to them. Yepper. That's all we get. 1/8 inch piece of aluminum. A bunch of foam in there so it doesn't make noise. Bend that down, watch this. Yeah, if that happens at 80 miles an hour, you're gonna have a bad day. See if I can't pull that foam insert out of there. Look at that. See a piece of foam? It's noise suppression foam. Boom! How cool is that? Look at that. And yep, that's it. No more foam. We can see, look on the inside, you see the dent right there? There she is, that's the dent. That right there will cause this drive shaft to collapse and fold up and turn itself into a pretzel, giving you, the owner, a very bad day. Let's check the status of our battery charger. I dropped it down to a 2 amp charge because we're mostly fullish here. So I think we're all done. Go ahead and shut this down. Clear this out of the way. Okay, and the bonnet, shut you down. All dunny. All dunny. My 5-year-old says all dunny. Starting's the engine. Okay, reverse. Feels good. Drive. Feels good. Reversing again. After I turn the parking brake off. There we go. This truck needs a mirror. That one's got a sunburn. Dave's trying to fire up the lawnmower, clean the carb out. No good there, Dave? Is it coming to life? No? All right. Give it some brake clean, get it running again, and then maybe it'll start picking up fuel. That carb's probably empty. Brake clean. It's great to start engines. It's alive. Let's see if it stays running. Nope. Okay. And we're off. Driving through the grass because I had to cut that corner to not swing out into the road. Alright, so far so good. If it's got a vibration, we'll feel it at about probably 40, 50, or 60. I think it's good. Yeah, we're gonna head up over the bridge, get some speed going with this unit, and then that'll be the conclusive result of this repair. Car, not pulling out in front of the car. I can wait. All right, here we go. Full speed. Pretty smooth. We're at 50 miles an hour. I feel no vibration. Nice. We've achieved a victory here. A great victory has been achieved. Beautiful. And I saved the guy some money. That's awesome. So, that being said, guys, I think I'm all done with this particular video. If you wouldn't mind, chime in the comment section about what you think about today's events. And don't forget to engage that like button while you're down there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are all very much appreciated. And I'll catch you on the next one.